I think we're working here. And have you three ever sat together in a line?
No, we don't like each other.
I thought about the headmaster's office there. Anyway, Dougie, why do you want this job?
I don't.
What do you think?
I think you'll find the power is sitting
I'm
here.
beginning to wish he didn't have it.
Are you shy, Dave, in front of the camera? Is that what you're telling me?
It's not my preferred position.
No.
There's a reason.
But the
why
body
we-
language suggests that with Dave, he's not very comfortable. You're quite comfortable, though, James.
Well, there is a reason why we stand behind the camera, because we don't want to be in front of it.
Okay.
You're making us be in front of it. So.
I am. I'm making my mark as apparently the new producer director. But I just wanted people to meet. I think we met the guy in the middle, but maybe not so familiar with the nervous guy to his right, Dave, who does. Well, what do you do? Sound.
Sound.
What do you do? Is it like? Is it easy to work on this program?
It is actually easy to work on this program,
Why?
mainly because everyone's so pleasant and you're allowed to make mistakes and then correct them.
Have you made many?
Well, hopefully not.
So what we've just come back. We were doing a thing on a boat. So without going into too much detail, because I know you can go on about this because you love it. What were your technical kind of thoughts today? And James, you can bash in as well. And Ian's in the middle. He doesn't care. He's rowing. Well, what were your considerations today?
My considerations for that was whether I'd have range on radio mics. So I knew that I would use recording radio mics that record to the pack themselves in case I didn't have range. Yeah. And noisy clothing, but anyway, all of that worked out pretty well.
Yeah. So when you say range, is that when
range of the microphones to me to receive them?
Okay.
But most of the time it was fine. I had a couple of bits of break up, in which case they could use the recording packs.
Okay, so they're all mic'd.
They're all mic'd.
I should know this as a director.
You should know.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, four.
Maybe this isn't such a good idea.
Four of them were mic'd, and one of them who didn't think was going to speak wasn't mic'd.
Yeah.
So Ian.
Is that Ian?
So of course Ian asked her some questions.
That's never going to happen.
So, well, you've been with them for what, 4?
You've been involved since
the boat journey.
Yeah.
Tall ships.
Yeah, we worked together.
Which is a while ago.
Yeah.
When I say
10 years.
with
10 years.
10 years. Yeah.
When I say with them, because they're a double act, really, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Tell us about you two then. You two lovers on that side of the table. What's your story?
Well, I started working with Ian in 2012. We do a lot of news work together, so things on Report in Scotland. We used to do Newsnight Scotland, all that kind of thing. But I tend to work on a lot of the documentaries that Ian does, and I've been doing My Kind of Town since the start in 2019, 2020.
Yeah, 2019, I think.
Right. Okay.
So on a personal level, Ian, taking away your professional thing, you need to have trust in the people around you because of the other things that you have to deal with.
Yeah, I think all of us need to trust people around us, but the issue is I need people that I do trust. I think it's really critical for me because quite often I can be in tricky situations. And if you work with people regularly, they can anticipate a problem before it happens. I think that's part of it. And if you work with the same people, quite often I don't need to say this could be an issue. Dave here or James here particularly, and Daniel who's not here today will say, this could be a problem. And in a sense it stops any kind of embarrassment before it becomes an issue. Particularly in situations like today, when you're dealing with water, boats, and maybe people who are really happy and keen to help, but don't necessarily know the challenges of A, television, and B, someone who's visually impaired.
Yeah, and so James, from you, with there's obviously a friendship between the three, and that's kind of apparent. But you've got the technical issues. Dave has his technical issues. You've got your technical issues.
So it's
and there's Tanya. She's in comments. She's decided to leg it. She's decided so you've got the thing, but there's also, and this is collectively, and with those at Dougie, your other side, man, this is a collective thing that you just do without thinking about. Is Ian's welfare along with your own and along with the technical.
It's
Give me a feeling of that.
It's also about sort of going into each situation and thinking how you're going to make the most out of the situation. So we have a lot of basically toys that we can use. Lots of little action cameras, 360-degree cameras. It used to be you would have one camera, or maybe two. They'd be fairly big kind of things. But nowadays the cameras are quite small. And on the boat, we mounted 2 action cameras and a 360-degree camera, which is a fairly new thing, which means that we can basically put a camera in a place and you don't frame the camera. You decide afterwards what you want to see. You select bits of the frame, and then you export that. So that's a kind of really useful thing.
Then you get Daniel on drone as well.
And then you got Daniel on the drone. And one of the advantages of having a separate drone person, Daniel, who's doing the drone, is that while Ian's on the boat and I'm filming Ian on the boat with the bigger camera and we've got the action cameras running, Daniel can be doing the drone at the same time. So it's really
there's a practice, because the viewer will see this slickly put together thing, but there's been 3 cameras on the boat. There's how many microphones for sound?
4 microphones on the boat.
Well, there's also the normal camera, which we shoot most of the bulk of the program on. What was I going to say? But it's about making best use of the technology that you have.
I mean, most of the time in getting this right is the setting up time. The actual filming of it.
That's what I've noticed.
I think also what using smaller cameras and things like that, or having someone else on the drone, it's trying to capture spontaneity, because what you really want to try and avoid is getting in to do the same thing again and again and again, which is kind of what we would have had to do if we only had the one camera. And it just makes it sort of captures that spontaneity, I think, a little bit more, rather than repeatedly getting to do the same thing.
And do you prefer that, Ian, in terms of you know, if you get the word from Dave, right, I'm set, you're happy with your recording, you're happy with the pictures, where are you in this equation then, Ian? How do you prefer to work?
To be honest, this sounds very, very selfish. I've really got to forget about that. I mean, sometimes you had to think about it, but if Dave here and James have done their job, which they always do, just to be clear, I can forget about that. I can focus the bit I need to focus on, which is presenting, delivering. You know, and so it's up to them. If they've got that infrastructure right, I can forget about it. I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, absolutely. You can just carry on with it.
I've got to. So then I'm just concentrating.
What's important?
Yes, then I'm just concentrating whatever you've given me to do. Duncan.
Oh, this is
I can focus on what you would call the performance.
Yeah. So, what do you prefer as a front of camera person? And do you prefer interviewing people and with your journalistic side of it, or do you have a different hat on when you're presenting, or how do you approach presenting?
I think this program is kind of a bit odd because you're drawing on all these skills. So there's a bit of light and shade in the programme for those who know it. So you do have to draw on your journalistic skills, but those are the same skills whether it's a serious or a frivolous subject. I'm trying to get the best out of them and make sure that they can perform well and that they're feeling comfortable, whilst I am trying to give what you want, Duncan. So when you go into the edit, you've got something that you need as from the presenter, i.e. me.
I think I was just going to say the other thing as well is that when you're dealing with contributors, television is very artificial. So the ability to have multiple cameras and multiple ways of doing things lets you capture a moment in one go, and that makes people much more spontaneous. They don't get tired of doing the same thing over and over again, and that applies to the contributors as well as you.
And I think I don't know about you, Dave. When you go into a situation like that, what you guys need is time, isn't it?
Yeah, just a bit of prep time. But both James and myself are always thinking ahead like that. So we usually have it, the day before. You'll think, we've got this coming up. We'll need to think about that. Various all the bits and pieces of. It's true. So then when we arrive, we're sort of ready. It's not too much faffing about.
What's always funny, what makes a lot of the program work is having a sound person, because what a sound person does is it means that I can concentrate on my job. And we can capture stuff really spontaneously.
So you don't always go out with a Dave then?
I don't know. So most of my news work, most of the stuff that I do, I'm doing the sound, which is fine and works a lot of the time. But when something changes and something spontaneous happens, you're kind of very limited in what you can do. So,
explain to people what having a dedicated sound person, what difference that makes to you visually and from your point of view. Is there anything really? You know what I mean? It's like
say we're doing something with Ian and something happens, a contributor comes up, that person, they can just carry on a conversation because the sound person will be there with a boom. Okay. Whereas in a news situation or in a situation without that, Ian might be mic'd up. If the other person starts talking, I'm not going to hear them. The whole thing has to stop. You lose that spontaneity.
I think what we pay for these guys for, we pay handsomely for this one, Duncan, right?
Do we get paid?
Well,
I mean, they get two.
Ian, you can't see their faces as you're saying.
As I was saying to Dave earlier on, we don't pay these guys when things are going well. We pay these guys for their experience when it's all going wrong.
Yeah.
That's very true, because when it's going well, it appeers straightforward.
You're kind of invisible
But
almost.
it's when it goes wrong is when you earn your money.
So you mentioned thing. I'm not treating anyone that's watching this as like ignorant, but if you've got prep time, you were saying, and you've got maybe say like today you had maybe 3 or 4 contributors. You'll go ahead of the pack. You and James will set that up. You'll put mics on them, so you're kind of ready to go.
Yeah.
Ian then gets mic'd up. That means that these spontaneous things can happen, and you've got the cover.
Ideally, yes. Ideally, what we want to do is have the cameras. So on the boat today, for example, we want the cameras to be running, so that when Ian gets on the boat, we don't have to interrupt him what he's doing and start pressing record and things like that. So everything's running before he gets on the boat. And
doing it single camera, as I say, just as if it was a news piece, they just couldn't. Well, you could cover it pictorially, but you just wouldn't get any.
You just have to keep doing it over and over again.
Yes, you would do. So we have, how many cameras do we have? We had 3 cameras on the boat. I was on the ground with a larger camera. Then we had Daniel with the drone. If we didn't have the smaller cameras, if we didn't have the action cameras, you would have to do it again and again and again to get the cap.
Which then tires people out.
Which tires people out, and it's not fair on them, and they don't understand, and they shouldn't have to understand why they're being asked to do the same thing in the same way again and again and again.
But what's important to remember, Dave and James, you're giving, and me as well, we're giving Duncan here, our new producer director, all this great material. If he screws it up,
yes,
he's got no excuse.
It's not our fault.
I'm asking. I'm doing the statements and the questions here. I was going to say, well, it's a long-established brand that has been successful, so I'm not going to come here and change the basics of it. But have you changed your approach, both Dave and James and you, Ian, over the years? Have you thought there's better ways of doing this, or there's more efficient ways, or are you just familiar with each other and there's a comfort there?
I don't think I've changed. I don't think my approach has changed. It's just the equipment changes. As time goes on, the ability to, have radio mic packs that record. So if they disappear out of range, you can still get sound on them. And all the new cameras have made it slightly more technical in terms of ensuring that all the cameras and pictures match.
But actually, in a lot of ways, for me, having the smaller cameras is great. Having more cameras is great. But for you have to do more. You have to.
Yeah, but that's sort of standard on most shows now as well. So sort of it's new normal stuff.
I think for me, it's just having a group of people around me that I can trust.
Yeah.
And the equipment can come and go, and they learn that. But it's up to me just to go, right, I can trust these guys, I can relax. And by the way, if I'm having a bad day, and we're all allowed to have a bad day, doing something goes wrong, maybe we're a bit tired, what I like about it, there's no umbrage if somebody's having a bad day. We just tell him to pull himself together.
It's like it's without being too harsh, but it's like a family, because I
very
feel
dysfunctional one,
yeah.
But it is like that in a sense. You just have to go. So as I say, I always say everybody in the team's allowed to have a bad day.
Yeah,
and if everybody has a bad day, and let's not forget Tanya, because Tanya done a lot of these
Tanya's
programs.
essential.
We should have here because she ran away.
Daniel.
And Daniel. So these are part of the team. But I suppose everybody's got their part to play, and everybody knows what their part is.
And well, I've done the mantle from, I think, a long-standing producer and director was Annie Cheap, and there's been a number before that. So all these people have gone, as I say, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So you guys have got. If I was honest, you'd probably do it without me. Who's going to be honest?
Do you want me about that?
Who's going to be honest?
Well, no, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair.
No, I don't think
it's fair. I think TV, I always say, Duncan, TV is not a democracy. Somebody needs to be in charge. Somebody needs to have the big picture.
And somebody needs to take the blame.
And somebody needs to take the blame. And congratulations. No, in all seriousness, it has to be, because, you could say, right, okay, and at certain parts of the process, somebody will take the lead. So if I'm on the boat on my own, I have got no choice but to take the lead.
Yeah.
If James is setting stuff up in a certain situation, he takes the lead. If it's a big audio, Dave takes. So it depends on and Dave works in other productions.
Yeah.
And he'll say, well, I know what they did in that programme.
Yeah.
I can bring that.
Yeah.
So in certain situations, one of us will take the lead. But overall, I'm afraid the producer director is responsible. And that's okay, I've got a problem.
Yeah, but it's also a very collaborative thing as well. It's one of the enjoyable things about working in TV is that you're constantly learning something else. You're constantly working with different people, and you're finding out what the producer or director is looking for, and that's really enjoyable.
But everyone's got a thing, because I'm not afraid to. I'll have an idea or a thought, but it might be something that Ian says, well, look, I'm not comfortable doing that. Dave might say, look, I get where you're coming from, but I can't actually physically get as many microphones as you want over these horses or whatever your idea is, and you're the same. We're limited to the amount of gear, although tech is small. It's still finite.
But there's even physical things like getting an action camera to stick onto a boat or mount onto a car. That can be a challenge.
So do you think that from this side of the fence, the producer side of things, that we should be more aware as producers of the technical issues of... I'm all about the editorial on the face of it, so Ian and I are working that out. But you guys, do you think producers should generally be more aware of the time?
And have to have a reasonable degree of knowledge about that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it can go wrong for them.
And then you'll get the blame in terms of we didn't get that.
They'll say, "Why is this not ready?" So you didn't tell me.
I've got a strong belief, right? I don't think it should be blamed. If anything goes wrong, and it doesn't, and I'm quite deadly serious here, and James and I work in news quite a lot. If it goes wrong, you keep it in the team. Yeah. If James said, "This hasn't quite worked today. I've had a bit of a problem with my camera. How do we fix it?" How do we fix it? I think once you start throwing individuals of a team under the bus, you've got a problem. Right? So if anything went wrong with Dave and he holds his hand and says, "Oh, I screwed that one up." So that's fine. It's not about who do we blame, but how do we fix it?
Yeah,
it is. And that's professional competency and respect for the thing as well. No one's gonna. You're all gonna have each other's back, and it's between you and the team.
And you don't take it out of the team. No. Unless it's very funny. Yeah. And then you tell everybody. That's fair enough, isn't it?
That's fair enough, yeah.
Oh well, that's all the secrets out.
I've got a major concern that these clocks are ticked all the way through this.
Yeah. See, that's ever the technical guy. Yeah. Producer never even thought of that.
What's slightly bothering me is I'm not sure I pressed record.
We'll find out. If anyone doesn't see this, well, okay. Thank you for your time. Now get back to work.